Hello everyone, my name is Adam from Trade with Precision and welcome to IC Markets Market Commentary. So I hope you enjoy this. What I'm going to be doing is recapping all the charts, but I feel that there is a quick overview of all the different markets, the asset classes, and then also which markets I feel I would stay away from, despite whether they are popular or not, certainly for the coming week, and then which markets have got most of my attention. So starting off here with the euro dollar, what we can see here is although we did have a very strong recovery back into this level of support, we found resistance, very strong reaction against that on the tail end of last week, and in fact we've already broken the new low here. So this is hinting at a change, a reversal in sentiment, having started with dollar weakness, which I'll show you in a moment with other charts, and has reversed now into dollar strength. And the implication here is that we are likely to see the euro dollar continue to lower down here towards the 1.07 mark this coming week. If I move across and have a look at sterling, you can see a similar thing happen. Basically, price came back up, found resistance, and has come back down towards the lows. This one's slightly a little bit more complicated because it does need to determine if it's going to find support here or not. But once it breaks through here, or most likely that is the most likely outcome, could still reverse from this, but the most likely outcome, our bigger pardon is that it would come down to the next level, which would put it in the area of around about 1.24. Then if we have a look at gold, so that just provides context for a stronger dollar. If we, for example, if we bring up the Australian dollar here against it, you can see we've also had a very strong rejection off resistance here. We've had a very strong dollar. So we can see a weak Australian dollar, strong US dollar. If we look here, for example, on the New Zealand dollar, same thing again, very strong reaction here. Follow through. These are all on the daily chart, by the way. Follow through as well. So we can see that it's the dollar that is the US dollar that is the primary driver here behind that. And so the question now is that showing itself in other asset classes such as gold against the dollar or Bitcoin against the dollar? So if we go ahead and have a look at gold, what we can see here is that gold has been struggling in this area here, sort of just below that 1950 level, and it has started a retracement. However, it is in an uptrend currently, and it is coming back down onto the 50-period moving average. So you can see how it either is above the red 50-period moving average or below that. It has been below it. It's now back up above. So the question is, and it's coming back into a key level of support and resistance. So what I'm going to be looking for here is any sign of bullishness. So a nice bullish candle. In principle, I am bullish, although we have a weekly downtrend here. In principle, I am more bullish on gold than bearish. So I'd like to see a bullish, or I'm waiting to see a bullish candle form here, which could then become an indication that the buyers are starting to return into the market and they're likely to resume the trend to the upside. So that would be the first one on my watch list in terms of the one with the proximity to the newest kind of entry. Then having a look at, I want to have a look at crude oil. Crude oil is really the central chart for me this week. And it really does look the most bullish. It is now overextended on the daily. It's broken to new highs, looks very bullish, especially when you look at it from a weekly. We've had a bit of a retracement here, and we've taken off a bit. I'd really like to see, if I just zoom in on that, what I'd like to see is the next week's candle, which is the one we're currently in, to see potentially price just come down a little bit towards these highs, connect to that, and then continue on upwards. It doesn't have to, but if it does, that's a very graceful way for it to retrace on the daily and produce a bullish candle and then take off again. So again, just to kind of sum up, what I'm looking for is just a minor retracement on the daily, looking for a nice bullish setup. It's very strong, very healthy. To me, this represents the highest probability, relatively speaking, safest trading opportunities, especially on the daily. Then if I go back and let's have a look at the US indices, we've had a very nice finish on the weekly. We've started to produce a swing low here. So the implication is that we're likely to continue up to these highs. So if I look at it from a daily perspective, again, you can see a little bit of a retracement, very similar to gold. I'd like to see it come back in towards these highs here. So if I just had to put in an area where I'd expect it to retrace to, let's just adjust that a little bit. I'd be expected to sort of pull back into the 4464 area in around here, produce a bullish candle this week looking, and then that would be a trend continuation to the upside. So we've also got a similar type of expectation with the tech stocks. So same thing again, they're forming a very similar pattern. So you can see right now the US dollar is very much a key what's the word I was going to say? It's very much a cog in the system, and there are times when it's not really a major cog in the system. It's not a primary cog driving everything. Right now, however, the US dollar does appear to be creating a lot of the movement in the market. We've got the FTSE as well, bit of a double bottom here, bearish candle again. Price might come back down towards these lows, but I've got to see it get above that 50-period moving average. Then we have the DAX, which is also battling with its level of resistance in a similar type of position. And so really for me, the question is are we just seeing a temporary correction on these indices? We should be. They've just turned bullish. So my expectation, it's innocent until proven guilty. My expectation is that the correction on these charts is going to be only for a few days this week and then produce a bullish setup, which might, to be fair, only be on Friday. But at the end of it might also be during the week, and that's what I'm looking for. And finishing that off with the ASX, you can see it's nice and bullish, not correcting as much here, and so it's a weekly chart. But again, I'll be looking for either a breakthrough of these highs. This has got a nice consolidation, so a breakout and a continuation is also possible, but this is a great area for it to find some support. Then having a look at cryptos, Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is range bound at the moment. Let me just draw that for you so you can see it. It's just stuck within this range. So my first expectation is to see if it produces a bullish candle here at the bottom and stays within this range. All right, if it breaks outside of this range, you can see it's been in a range prior to that, stuck up here, and then I would expect it to drop down to the lower end of that range. But for now, it is still within the range, and therefore I have to give it every opportunity to reverse and work its way back up. And it makes sense, actually, that if we do get a very bullish week, by the end of this week, that we'll see price also find some feet in, find its footing, so to speak, in cryptos, and then work its way back up to the top. And then in Tesla, I've spoken about this in the past. I'm still waiting for it to make up its mind. Is it going to work through the bottom of this support? So this is just a trend line, just drawing general support. So if it falls back below this support level at 212, it would also break this upwards trend line. And so that would start to imply that Tesla has a more bearish, especially if it breaks this level as well, then it implies that there's further moves to the downside in its future. And this is on a weekly chart, so it's very significant, which is part of the reason I'm bringing it in. However, if it moves up with the rest of the market, it will continue to work up towards a sort of downward sloping trend line, and especially breaking through this level. So which should I place more importance on? Should I place more importance on the horizontal levels or the trend lines? Always, always, always the horizontal levels. Why is that? Because it's about price. Okay. So horizontal levels are way more important than sloping trend lines. These are much more significant because they always result in price. All right, so if I had to choose between the two, it's a big bonus when it crosses this level because it's really telling me something. If it breaks the downward trend line, it could still find resistance here and continue down, and that trend line, that price level is still intact, which is why we always value price over trend lines. Okay. Horizontal levels. So, and then also I just want to talk about NVIDIA quickly. You can see it's still up in this area. I've highlighted this as the sort of danger zone. This is an area where it is very overextended and could potentially fail. So if I do start to see more and more failure in this area, red candles, and we break below the low, then I believe that NVIDIA is going to have a correction much more likely down towards these old highs, which is much better for it in the long run. Could it go up a little bit higher? Of course it could. It's possible it could go up to 60, or 600, I beg your pardon, but it is overextended. And this is one of those areas that tends to trap the late joiners, the people who are panicking. They fear they're going to miss out, so they jump on board. This is a perfect trapping ground for it. So this is something I will not be touching at all until it either breaks down or breaks up. Okay, and I prefer for it to either consolidate and then I can join it. So notice the market has two ways of recouping energy. It either consolidates, which is one way of gathering energy again for the next move, or it has a correction. The correction is better because we can get in at a better price, but both are valid. But when it's overextended like this, it becomes incredibly dangerous, and it is a trap for that. And finally, having a look at the yen pairs. So I've been eyeing out the yen pairs for a while. They did double bottom. They're still looking nice and bullish, but their behavior is starting to become a little bit more range-like, so I'm a little bit more cautious on that. Euro yen, for example, has gone from a very nice trend to largely sideways behavior, so not liking that so much. Pound yen as well, also very much sideways behavior, not looking that good. So dollar yen looking great. Euro yen, pound yen not looking so good. Swiss yen also within this range as well. So this again could be an example of a consolidation, could break out to the upside or consolidate and break out to the downside. So watching that, but that's more of a wait and see. And then that is pretty much it. So there we go. So the ones that have caught my attention the most will be the indices. I really want to see what happens with those. I'm expecting a bullish day to form in the coming few candles. I'm looking for crude oil to have a nice retracement. That one is really top of my list for opportunities. Gold as well, I'm expecting that. Silver as well for those to have. So there's a very similar behavior in the metals the crude oils as well as the indices where I'm looking for, expecting a couple of days where the market's potentially heading low, then I'm looking for green candles to come in and start to indicate that the buyers are returning and looking for moves to the upside. And the rest of the charts that I was just showing you is just to give you a general analysis of the markets. It does appear as though we've got that stronger dollar. And so again, we've got the euro pairs and pound pairs and Aussie pairs and Kiwi pairs supporting that idea. So I'm going to leave you with that. And I do hope you found this instructive and useful. And if you did, please, and if you want to see more breakdowns like this, please give us some feedback. I'm obviously with Trade with Precision. My name is Adam, but also please provide IC Markets with some feedback so they can appreciate that this is the kind of content that you want more of. And thank you very much. I want to wish you a fantastic week. Thank you.